on feather beds and moss mattresses, I think we moved to Lake Charles before we ever had store-bought mattresses. I still have a pallet from those feathers that my father did. That's some of my treasures too. Okay. My dad became so ill that he was really bedridden for about a year while we lived in this house in Lake Arthur. But people made do back then. We picked blackberries in the spring, April. My mother made blackberry jam, jelly, juice. We picked figs in the summer. She would put up over 200 jars of figs. She would cook on a old wood stove, old black cast iron stove, hot summertime, probably 100-degree weather. If she got a bushel of peaches, if somebody gave her a bushel of peaches, food was put up. Before, you could go to the store and buy cans of beans or peaches or whatever. And you ate things in season, a lot of things in season.
You had a garden?
Oh yes, my dad made a garden. He made a garden and we had fresh vegetables. We had friends around, neighbors across the street who had a cow that we get for a nickel or a dime, you could get a big bucket of milk. We had, mother always had chicken, a little chicken yard too. So we had chickens, we had eggs. From the milk, they would make butter, cottage cheese, clabber, which is now called yogurt. Well, my dad was so very ill, and he finally passed away in April of 1934, I think.
At what age?
49. Very young. So there was not much left, or reason for us to stay in Lake Arthur. And my mother's sister, who was living in Lake Charles, backing up all those years up to that time, Aunt Lily and Uncle Ivan lived in Jennings before they moved to Lake Charles. And I remember my dad bought my mother a new Chevrolet, and she learned to drive on gravel roads, and she was able to drive between Lake Arthur and Jennings to go to see her sister when her sister lived. So I was raised with 2 brothers and 5 male cousins. So I had to be a tomboy. I had to keep up with all those boys, or try to. My mother would drive from Lake Arthur to Jennings. Aunt Lily also had a car, and she would take her little boys and drive to Lake Arthur. So we were raised very, very close, very close. Okay, so Aunt Lily wanted Mom to come to Lake Charles, move to Lake Charles, where they could be together, and they did help us tremendously. Tremendously. They kind of looked after us. Cyril went to work for my uncle in the sawmill. My uncle was in the lumber business. He was a partner in the Bass Harless Lumber Company.
What town?
That's a lumber mill where they floated logs up the Calcasieu River. They had a pull boat and they had a crew who worked in the swamps cutting trees. He cut a lot of cypress, a lot of longleaf yellow pine. And he came to Lake Charles, he and his partner, Bass Harless Lumber Company, which they had a lumber company down in Mermentau. And I guess maybe the lumber there played out and they moved on where there would be more wood to cut. And then when he built his sawmill up on Calcasieu River, out on Fitzenrider Road, he processed the lumber and had planed lumber. And Cyril worked for the mill until about 1938, when he went to Landry School to be the lifeguard. And see, he was a kid. When my dad died, he was about 18 years old, 18, 19 years old. And he became the head of the family. My mother was an excellent seamstress. She sewed for Al. Would make a dress for 50 cents. Could make a dress in a day's time because she was that good. And she did alterations and held us together as a family, held us together and sent Curtis and I to school. She saw that we got to school. And after that year of being lifeguard at Landry, Cyril went to work for Schlumberger Oil Company. By that time, this was about 1939, 39, things were beginning to pick up a little bit from the Depression. You must remember, in those days, as I say, some people fared better. Nobody had anything. Nobody had anything. And people did care about people, and if I have 2 shirts, you can have one.
But there's still things like some people had golf courses, had money to do that.
Well, some people who had property and who were established, and maybe, some people fared a lot better. But any of the people we knew who had more shared more. They did not. If they had anything, they would share. They would share. Not like today. It's not like today. Which a lot of people do have people who are better off but not. It's your family. It's not your neighbors. It's not your friends, per se. The times they were hard. They were very hard. But what you had monetarily or materially did not measure who you were at all. Not at all. And I think that may be one reason I have the philosophy that I do. Material things are wonderful. If you can get them, afford them, have them. But that's not who you are. That's not who you are. And you can survive without, although I would hate to see any of my young people have to face living like that. I really, really would. During the ice storm in 1997 in Lake Charles, sulfur and driftwood, my young daughter Kate called me and she said, she was at her house, we were at the camp, she said, Mom, I don't have any lights. She called me from her car phone in her garage. I don't have any lights. I don't have any water. I have the fireplace going, but I'm cold and I need a bath. Do you have water? I said, yeah, hey, we still have water. And she said, do you think that Kristen, Mark was working, so she said, do you think Kristen and I could come out there and meet y'all? I said, sure, come on, but talk to me the whole way on that cell phone because I don't want you crossing any down electric lines. That's very, very dangerous. So she and her little girl started out, and she talked to me all the way, and she said it was so eerie and so still and just surrealistic. Well, she got to the camp. We had propane on the grill. We had heated a big pot of water. We didn't have hot water, but we had water. We had the fireplace going. We had the barbecue pit going. We had her a big pot of water boiled for her to get a bath. We had chicken and baked potatoes on the grill and a bottle of wine. And we were, of course, all looked like Eskimos because we had everything in the world we owned on. It was comfortable, but it wasn't really warm. And she looked at us and she said, how do y'all know how to do this? I said, if you had lived, when we lived as little children, where you went out to the pump to pump water, to put in a pitcher to take to the wash basin, or slept under 2 feather beds to keep warm. We learned how to do that just from the way we had to live when we were young. Times were tough when we were young. But as I say, we didn't know how bad off we were. Most everybody was bad off that we knew. So, you know.
Besides your family, who were your best friends in childhood?
We had our family. We had the most important thing in the world. We were together. We had our family.
What other friends did you have in high school and all?
Oh, by the time I got to high school, I had a couple of real close friends. Hazel White and Dorothy Martin. Walked to school every day of the world. Just the best friends. I would sleep at Hazel's house. We had sleepovers, and she would sleep at my house. We stayed friends. Well, we were always friends. Of course, as we married and began our own families, you grow apart, but it doesn't matter because you're friends forever. A good friend is a friend forever. Yep.
Have you seen them lately, or they passed?
Hazel passed away. I see Dorothy occasionally. She's the CEO of Household Furniture Company. She is Dorothy's associate, and her husband has passed away too now. But she started in the furniture business with her father, who owned Household Furniture on Rhine Street. And as a little girl in high school, she kept books in the store, worked on Saturdays and every afternoon after school in her daddy's store. And actually bought the business from him when he became agent, Mr. Henry Martin. Times weren't all bad. It was a lot of fun. We swam, played in that park on Lake Arthur as little children. And the thing about living in a little town like that was that everybody watched out for everybody else's kids. If they saw a kid doing something they shouldn't do, they didn't go home and tell the mama. They told the kid, don't do that. You know, I mean, so we had a lot of caretakers. And then I have to think. Well, let's stop now.
Okay.